On the banks of the Nile River in the heart of ancient Egypt, a pharaoh rose with an audacious vision that defied centuries of tradition and ingrained beliefs. His name was Akhenaten, a courageous and revolutionary ruler who attempted to introduce a new religious system in a society deeply rooted in gods and goddesses. From his birth to his ascension to the throne, we will follow Akhenaten on his journey of personal and political transformation, discover how Akhenaten challenged religious traditions by establishing monotheism as the new order of Egypt, with the sun as the sole worshipped god. If you are ready to explore the fascinating legacy of Pharaoh Akhenaten, leave your like, and let's begin this journey together. Akhenaten was born into an era of great power and influence in ancient Egypt. The son of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and Queen Tai, he belonged to a royal lineage dating back many generations. His birth was celebrated with great pomp and ceremony, for succession to the throne was a crucial event in the stability of the kingdom. From an early age, Akhenaten showed signs of uncommon intelligence and curiosity. His education was carefully supervised by palace tutors and sages who provided him with a comprehensive education. He learned about history, politics, religion, and the arts, acquiring a deep knowledge of Egypt's traditions and beliefs. Akhenaten was also exposed to outside influences that shaped his worldview. Ancient Egypt was a meeting point of different cultures and civilizations, and the young pharaoh had the opportunity to interact with emissaries and diplomats from neighboring realms. These encounters piqued his curiosity and exposed him to ideas and concepts that challenged Egypt's traditional beliefs. As Akhenaten grew older, his unique personality began to manifest. He was a deep, contemplative, and questioning thinker. His inquisitive mind led him to explore different philosophies and question prevailing religious practices. It was during this phase of self-discovery that Akhenaten developed a profound connection with nature and a vision of the existence of a transcendental divine force that permeated everything. This revelation would become fundamental to his quest for a new religious truth. Akhenaten's path to realizing his vision faced challenges. The Egyptian court was a complex environment fraught with political intrigue. There were those who resisted change and saw Akhenaten's ideas as a threat to the established order. But the young pharaoh was determined to follow his heart and forge a new path for Egypt. After the death of his father, Akhenaten ascended to the throne of Egypt. His coronation was a grand event where he proclaimed his commitment to bringing significant changes to his people. He styled himself Aten in honor of the solar deity he believed to be the supreme manifestation of divine power. One of the first reforms Akhenaten implemented was the centralization of religious power. He declared the god Aten as the sole god worshipped in Egypt and ordered that all other gods be suppressed. Temples were closed and images of traditional gods were removed. This radical change met resistance from priests and those who opposed the loss of ancient rituals and beliefs. Akhenaten introduced a new form of art and expression, known as Amarna art. It featured a more naturalistic and realistic aesthetic, depicting the pharaoh, his family, and the god Aten with more human features. This unique artistic approach reflected Akhenaten's vision of a deity closer to the people and nature. Akhenaten's religious and cultural reforms also extended to the daily lives of Egyptians. He promoted gender equality, allowing women to play a more prominent role in society and hold leadership positions. Moreover, he encouraged education and the pursuit of knowledge, establishing schools throughout the realm and promoting the acquisition of learning. Akhenaten believed that the god Aten, the sun disk, was the supreme manifestation of divine power. He saw in the sun a source of life and energy that should be worshipped above all other gods. To implement his vision, Akhenaten ordered the closure of temples dedicated to other deities and the removal of their images. He banned rituals and festivals associated with traditional gods and challenged the authority of priests who had played a central role in Egyptian religion for centuries. He established a cult of the god Aten, where he and his family were intermediaries between the people and the deity. The pharaoh and his wife Nefertiti were portrayed in scenes of sun worship, bathed in the radiant light of Aten. These artistic representations served as religious propaganda, intended to convey the new faith and consolidate Akhenaten's power. Akhenaten's religious revolution went beyond the worship of the god Aten alone. He also promoted the idea of a single universal god, a revolutionary concept for the time. This led to a redefinition of the relationship between the divine and the human, with an emphasis on a direct connection between the individual and the god, without the need for priestly intercession. This new religion also had a more inclusive inclusive character. Akhenaten preached the equality of all people before the god Aten, regardless of their social status or origin. This represented a significant change from the old social order, where only the elite and priests had privileged access to the gods. After ascending to the throne, Akhenaten decided to establish a new capital for his kingdom. He chose a location on the banks of the Nile in central Egypt to build the city of Akhenaten. This strategically selected location offered a centralized position that allowed greater control over the realm. Akhenaten's city planning was a monumental task. He envisioned creating a city that reflected his vision of a new social and religious order. The pharaoh imagined an open city with ample spaces for the worship of the god Aten and for communal gatherings. The city was built on a grid plan, with wide, straight streets intersecting at right angles. Residences were designed to accommodate both the royal family and commoners, with an emphasis on equality and community. The main buildings, including the royal palace and temples dedicated to Aten, were constructed in the city center, symbolizing the power and importance of the new religion. The city of Akhenaten was also adorned with beautiful gardens and parks, representing the connection between nature and the divine. Trees and flowers were abundant, creating a serene and harmonious environment. The city was designed to be a physical representation of an earthly paradise, where the people could connect directly with the god Aten. Akhenaten's construction was no easy feat. The resources and labor required to erect such a grandiose city were immense. Many of the workers were drawn from other areas of Egypt, which had a significant impact on local communities. Moreover, the construction was carried out at a rapid pace, resulting in some compromises in the quality and durability of the structures. The art in the city reflected Akhenaten's monotheistic vision and his worship of the god Aten. The artistic representations were marked by an emphasis on light, simplicity, and naturalism. The temples dedicated to Aten were built with large open courtyards where people could gather to worship the god. The columns were slender and elegant, with subtle decorations of hieroglyphs and solar motifs. The royal palaces were also grand, with lush gardens and spacious halls. Culture in Akhenaten was also influenced by the religious revolution. Music and dance played an important role in the rituals and festivals dedicated to Aten. The Egyptians celebrated life and the energy of the sun through elaborate songs and choreographies. Poetry also flourished in Akhenaten, with many poems dedicated to the god Aten and the beauty of nature. Nefertiti was known for her beauty and grace, and her marriage to the pharaoh was more than just a conjugal union. She was his partner and confidant, supporting him in his decisions and helping to shape the course of Egyptian history. One way in which Nefertiti influenced Akhenaten was through her adherence and devotion to the new religion of Aten. She shared her husband's vision of a single god and firmly believed in the worship of the sun as the supreme deity. Her unwavering support and belief in the new faith helped solidify Akhenaten's position as a religious leader and strengthen the religious revolution. Nefertiti played an active role in Akhenaten's political life. She was often depicted alongside Akhenaten in reliefs and paintings, symbolizing her equality in power and status. Her presence by the pharaoh's side was an affirmation of her role as co-regent and effective ruler of Akhenaten. Nefertiti also had a significant impact on the artistic and cultural sphere of the city of Akhenaten. One of the main oppositions Akhenaten faced came from the traditional priestly classes of the old cult of Amun-Ra. These priests, accustomed to the power and influence afforded by the traditional religion, viewed Akhenaten's proposed changes with suspicion and hostility. They resisted the idea of abandoning the ancient gods and the worship of Amun-Ra in favor of the cult of Aten. This opposition from the traditional priests resulted in religious and political tensions within the city of Akhenaten. The priests launched smear campaigns against Akhenaten and his new religion, seeking to undermine his authority and influence. They also opposed the cultural and artistic reforms, considering them a threat to the status quo. Akhenaten faced resistance from the nobility and government officials as well. Many of these individuals had close ties to the old cult of Amun-Ra and benefited from the established political and religious system. They saw Akhenaten's reforms as a threat to their interests and positions of power. The opposition from the nobility and government officials made it difficult to implement the pharaoh's policies and generated instability within Akhenaten. In addition to internal oppositions, Akhenaten also faced external threats. Egypt's neighbors, such as Nubia and the Hittite Empire, saw the religious revolution as a sign of weakness and instability. They seized the opportunity to challenge Akhenaten's authority and seek political and territorial advantages. These external threats put even more pressure on the pharaoh and left him in a vulnerable position. One of the main relationships Akhenaten sought to establish was with the Hittite Empire, located in the region now known as Anatolia. He sent emissaries emissaries and messengers to the Hittite king, proposing an alliance against common enemies and the exchange of gifts and diplomats. This attempt to establish relations with the Hittite Empire was a bold initiative on Akhenaten's part, as ancient Egypt generally maintained an isolationist stance towards other foreign realms. However, Akhenaten believed an alliance with the Hittite Empire could strengthen Egypt's position and secure its borders. In addition to the Hittite Empire, Akhenaten also sought to establish relations with other kingdoms and civilizations near Egypt, such as Nubia, Syria, and Mesopotamia. He sent ambassadors and negotiators to these regions, seeking to forge trade and diplomatic agreements. These trade relations helped boost the Egyptian economy and promote cultural exchange between the different civilizations. Not all of Akhenaten's attempts to establish relations with other kingdoms were successful. Some realms, such as Babylon and Assyria, rejected the Egyptian pharaoh's proposals for alliance. These kingdoms viewed Akhenaten's religious revolution as a threat to their own beliefs and traditions and preferred to keep their distance from Egypt. There are several theories and hypotheses about how Akhenaten ultimately met his demise. One of the most intriguing theories is that he was the victim of a political assassination. Some believe that forces opposed to his religious reforms conspired to remove him from power, fearing that his radically different ideas threatened the stability of ancient Egypt. However, there is no concrete evidence to substantiate this theory. Another possibility is that Akhenaten fell victim to a severe illness. His physical appearance, depicted in sculptures and paintings, showed distinct characteristics, such as an elongated body shape and feminine facial features. This led some experts to speculate that he may have suffered from a genetic disorder like Marfan syndrome. This condition can affect the heart and blood vessels, leading to serious health problems. However, without concrete medical evidence, this theory also remains speculative. Furthermore, there are accounts that Akhenaten may have been the victim of a conspiracy within his inner circle. Some believe that his own wife, Nefertiti, or another family member plotted his death to seize the throne. These theories are based on the intrigues and power struggles that were common in Egyptian royalty, but again, there is no concrete evidence to support them. Akhenaten was a unique and revolutionary pharaoh whose ideas and actions defied the established norms of his time. His pursuit of truth, his vision of a single god, and his belief in gender equality left a significant mark on history. Despite the tragic end of his reign and the subsequent rejection of his ideas, his legacy endured for several centuries. So, what did you think of this journey into the history of Akhenaten? Leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video so that more people can learn about this incredible story. Until next time.